Beauty with Pro Yoga at Pro Pilates in Fort Lauderdale. This video topic is yoga exercises to reduce the size of our waist. Many of us carry around extra padding in our waist that we'd like to get rid of. Now ideally we'd approach this by looking at our relationship with food. Are we eating to live or are we living to eat? And being honest with how we consume our food. So if we start to do this and become more conscious in our eating, we can then start to look at yogic exercises to complement this. Tom is going to exhibit one of the exercises called Parita Trikonasana, which is revolved triangle. And this works our obliques. So Tom is coming forward in a forward bend, and he's pulling this back left hip back. His hips are level. His feet are grounded into the earth. His back heel is down. And then he begins his spinal twist looking up. This twist starts from the tailbone and then twists and torques around the spine. So this is Parita Trikonasana, and Tom would stay in this typically 10 to 15 breaths before coming out of the pose the way he came in, returning to standing position and starting on the other side. Now the second position, Tom, if you'll move down to the mat into downward dog or plank, is Vasisthasana, which is a side plank pose, and it's an arm balancer. So you can see Tom coming up here. He's establishing grounding here with his feet flexed and stacked. He's lifting up in the hips, again working those obliques, and he's lifting up to the sky. He's gazing up towards the sky, and his wrist is directly under his shoulder. Again, he's going to be focusing on this energy, this diagonal line of energy from the base of his feet right out through the crown of his head. Tom would hold this pose for about 10 to 15 seconds again and switch to the other side. If you want to do fewer holds with your breath here, you can also come back and do each side twice. Next, we're going to work our rectus abdominis muscles, and Tom is going to come into Navasana, which is boat pose. So Tom, come on your back, and with your feet extended out in front of you, feet touching. And then he's going to take his hands behind the backs of his knees, bending his knees into his chest. And from there, he's going to begin his recline. Again, he's lengthening from the base of his spine right out through the crown of his head. His feet are coming off the floor. His chest is broad, his sternum is lifted, and his head is in line with the spine. And again, this is working these rectus abdominis muscles. Tom can hold this for 10 to 15 breaths, breathing with this Ujjayi breath through the throat. And then he can come out of it. Again, if this is challenging for you, you can break it into 2 segments. I'm Patsy Minuti with Pro Yoga at Pro Pilates in Fort Lauderdale.